before I give it up, I gotta think. Shout out to Lynn Collins. Think is the name of that song, and in parentheses about it. Shout out to Lynn Collins. Excuse me, Lynn Collins. Think about it before I give it up. I gotta think about it. Go ahead, Lynn. I ain't mad. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Keith K.L. Belvin here. Allow me to formally introduce myself. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, and educator, and you are watching the On Live with KL, the From Gigolo to Jesus platform. And I am happy to be on with you every Monday through Friday at 9:30 or 9:30-ish. I come on to have a conversation and hopefully to inform, entertain, educate you in a way that allows you to go on with your day and to have some fun with that. And so again, I am happy to be here, blessed that I got up this morning. I do not overlook that fact because too many people are checking out, and I think too often we don't consider how precious life is. So it is very precious to me, and I'm trying to do some things. So get my camera straight here. So again, pray everything was well with you. Let's get this housekeeping out of the way. I want you to like this post, this video. I want you to share this video, right? And now here's the thing. I want you to, let me see. We're going to tag 2 people today. Let's tag 2 people, all right? Tag 2 people today. All right, we're going to do that. Good morning, Kim. How are you? Great to see you this morning. Let's tag 2 people. All right, so I want you to like this, share this, and let's tag 2 people today, only 2. All right, because what we're talking about today is what Sister Lynn Collins was talking about I almost forgot. How dare me? Let me talk about the sponsor, Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food Kitchen, 497 Albany Avenue, Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Shout out to Chef Danielle Moore. She is Danielle Chef Moore on Facebook, BK Chef Danielle on Instagram. She is the owner and operator of Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food Kitchen, 497 Albany Ave in Crown Heights. And again, I'm going to say this every day, not just because she's a sponsor, because she is a friend and she's a fellow business owner. And I want to tell you this. If you're in the Brooklyn area, if you're in the Crown Heights area, get there. Support this sister. Go by her page and look at the wonderful food that she is creating. When somebody cooks with love, it's a whole different thing. This sister has decided to put her love and her talents into her own business. We need to support her and keep that going. Okay, so make sure when you get there, you tell her that KL sent you. And again, you know what I'm about to say. Ask her about the bench. And again, the reason why is because the elders have blessed that bench. The elders take their time to sit on that bench. And that bench has brought some very interesting people to her restaurant and has allowed them to pour into her. And we need to do the same. So please, let's support this sister. Let's support our own, and let's not talk about it. I'm good, Kim. I'm good. And I got to look back and forth because I can only see the Facebook comments when I'm looking at Facebook. I am good, Kim. Listen, I got up this morning, as my great grandmother said, I'm on this side. So I am blessed, and I got some work to do, and I'm going to try to build up the things that I do. I'm going to try to go to the gym today. I'm going to try to get some bowling in today, and I'm going to try to make sure that I'm working on the things that's going to promote and move my business forward. So with that started, with that said, let's talk about what today's topic of conversation is. Using what you have. We have to use what we have to get what we want. As Sister Lynn Collins was saying in the song, we're going to use what we got to get what we want. And I love it, but she's right. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean that we have to use what we have to get what we want? Too often, many of us look past the things that we have right now in our lives. But yet we want things, items, success, levels of success. We want so many things, and we don't realize that often much of the things that we are trying to get to can start right in our own home. Now, with that said, let's talk about business, right? Often, many of us who decide we want to go in business for ourselves, we start looking outwardly. We want to connect to so many things. We want to connect to so many people that we don't first take an evaluation of what do we have? What can I use in my home? Right now, I'm on my cell phone. This is my studio for now. Does it mean it'll always be that way? No. And then once I did an evaluation of what I have, what I can use, then I went and got the things that was going to help enhance what I already have. And getting a business coach, one of the things that I've learned, and it's not that I didn't already know, but again, sometimes the reason why you hire a coach is just simply to remind you and to hold you accountable. Well, one of the things that my coach, Glenn P. Brooks Jr., shout out to Glenn P. Brooks Jr., reminds me all the time, the ROI. And the ROI is your return on investment. If you're going to purchase something, you need to know that it's going to return on the investment. You're going to get something from it. Now, what does this have to do with an ordinary person just out here trying to make it and go to work? Well, same thing. What do you want? And once you figure out what it is that you want, I'm going to need you to do an inventory of what you have, what what do you possess, and I mean inventory of everything, not just the physical things. What do you know? What's your level of knowledge? Because often we downgrade ourselves, guys. We know that imposter syndrome is real. We know that many of us will look around the room and try to shrink into a box when we don't have to. Many of us have outstanding understanding of whatever. Many of us have tons of knowledge, but we don't use it. Many of us have resources around the house, don't use it. Many of us have resources in terms of people who are in our circles, but we won't open our mouths. So I'm going to need anybody watching this video, and I don't know who this is for today. First, what is it that you want? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you want? And now I'm going to need you to do an evaluation of what do you have? Where are you? What is your current position physically, mentally, and spiritually? Start from there. The thing that I realized for quite some time, I had muted myself. I had literally taken my voice out of circulation, meaning I stopped looking for speaking engagements. I stopped talking about my books. I would come on and do videos, but I really wasn't trying to connect them to too much, and I wasn't asking for anything. Now, let me explain to you what I mean by that. Is that I literally was not asking for anything. I wasn't trying to sell anything. I wasn't trying to do anything but just do my work, and that was it. And let me tell you why that was so wrong. I realized I had to stop and ask myself the question, Keith, what is it that you want? And I realized that I wanted to help people who were in crisis. I wanted to help people who were hurting. I wanted to help people who, when you say good morning, they say it back, but you can sense that it's not a good morning for them. Or more importantly, you say, how you doing? And they go, I'm good. But everything about that I'm good is just wrong. And I said, okay, well, how do I do that? And I had to take a self-evaluation because I realized God gave me all these talents. And like the Bible with the guy that God gave one talent to, and one talent was worth $1.5 million. The guy buried it because he said I was worried about how the Lord was going to react to it. No, I did that. I muted myself. You can call it imposter syndrome, fear, fear of success. You can call it all the things you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I didn't position myself to do better. I'm going to be very transparent. I have no problem with it. For a long time, I was just okay with just kind of showing up on social media and just doing a little and then getting off. I really wasn't accessing all my weapons, all my gifts. Well, that changed the last year. But no, it changed in 2019. 2019, I quit my job. I was a supervisor for an agency. I had one residence under my care. I was working with some gentlemen that had dual diagnosis. I had a staff of 13 people, and I was working hard to make my residence, and my residence was the number one residence of the three. So I managed my residence very well as a supervisor. But I was putting in so much energy that it was taken away from my wife and KL, from Tiff and KL. And also, what I realized, and it's going to sound very vain, but rock out with me, this is beneath me. And what I meant by that was, this is not what I went to school to do. This is not what I got these degrees for. This is not what I taught 20 years in New York City to do, was to come down here and work harder than I did in the classroom for less money. And it's not even aligned with what I wanted for myself. And here's what I'm getting at. I didn't clearly define what I wanted. So I was kind of bopping up like a leaf in the wind. I was bopping back and forth. And wherever I landed that would pay me a little bit, okay, yeah, I maneuvered myself to get down here in Delaware what was considered decent pay, but it was half of what I was making in New York. And I understood I was going to take less coming down here from New York, but half? No. Here's the problem. I became my own problem. I didn't consider what it is that I wanted, and I definitely didn't consider what I brought to the table. So I had to do an overhaul. I had to do a reevaluation, and I had to repurpose myself. I had to stop and ask myself, Keith, what is it that you want? And when I say want, I'm not just talking business. I'm talking about what is it that I want to do with my family? What is it that I want to do for my daughter? What is it that I want to do for myself? And I put those things down, and I realized nothing that I was doing right now would have led me to those things. And I'm gonna tell you that hurt. You know why? Because my daughter said to me once, I had told her we were going to do something on the weekend, and I had a couple of staff people call out sick, and I now had to go to work. That was the Friday, I think the Saturday. So I went, took care of that. I was able to call some people to come in, so I was able to come back home. So I told KL, I'm sorry, that I wasn't able. We're going to go out a little bit later. We did, but it still wasn't the same as when I said I was going out. So the next day, Sunday, which I said I'm off, so we can go tomorrow the next day. One of the men had a breakdown, and I had to take him to the emergency room. I had to meet the staff at the emergency room because that's the protocol. KL put her chair and her little body at the door. And she said, no, Daddy, you're not going. And I said, baby, I got to go. And she said, no, you told me that we were going to do whatever we want to do that day. And Tiff was sitting on the couch, and I looked over at Tiff, and I could see Tiff understood, but she got it. She said, KL, come over here with Mommy. She said, no, because if I move, Daddy's going to go out the house. And it was hard, and I had to say, come on, baby, I'm going to come back. I wound up being at that emergency room 17 hours because I had to go up to the residence. We had to deal with the police and everything else. And then we had to take this gentleman to the emergency room for a psychological eval. There was no psychologist that could see him, so we had to wait. Unfortunately, I can't have staff stay in that because I got to be there for that. And it was long. And that was the day that I said, no, I'm not doing this no more. So that put everything in the process. Within a month later, I quit. And I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do after that. But I knew what I wanted. I had it written down what I wanted. So now I had to restart, repurpose myself. So I had to take an evaluation of what do I bring to the table. So I did that. I bring 20 years of teaching experience to the table. I bring 4 degrees to the table. I bring the knowledge of a man who used to be a cheater, who understood what it took to get himself together. I bring to the table a man that has written 5 books, published, helped 48 other authors, and worked on 48 other books, 53 total. I brought a wealth of knowledge and things to the table. So why wasn't I using it? Partly was because I didn't know how. I was so used to just showing up at work and doing me and getting a check for it that I didn't know how to show up to do the extra. And now I'm out here on my own. So I slowly started to piece it together. I slowly started to build on the things that I had, connected to the things that I wanted. And since the late fall of 2019, I have slowly moved into position where I opened my second business last year during the pandemic. And I am slowly moving into position where both of my businesses are sustaining me to not have to work for anybody. So if I tell my daughter we're going to the park or whatever, I'm going. Now, has it been easy? No. Am I making the type of money that I would like to make? No. But the future's bright. And by hiring a coach last year, I then positioned myself to have somebody train me on how to be a better me. I now have a literary coach, somebody to show me how I can go back and repurpose the work that I did with my publishing company and coins that I left on the table. So where I am now is about being patient. My prayers are about patience now. Be patient that the seeds that you are planting will turn into fruit. So I don't know who needed to hear this today. And I don't know who's watching this today, who's struggling, who's not happy with where they are. And so I'm going to challenge you. Are you using everything that you have and are to get what it is that you want? Well, the first thing is, do you know what you want? Do you have an idea? And if you're not sure, that's why you reach out to talk to me. This is why I counsel, believe it or not, is that I know other people are stuck like I was, and I know that other people are hurting like I was. So if you don't know what it is exactly that you want, we might need to talk. So I would challenge you to reach out and say, hey, Keith, I might need to get on a call with you because I would love to get on a call with you. If you believe that you need to talk to somebody to get unstuck, let's go. Because once I figured out what I needed to get unstuck, I went and hired someone who could help me do that. And it has been a tremendous change. Because once I understood what it is that I want, and I started to reevaluate what I had, who I was, it made my decision making that much better. If you can understand or relate to that, put a 1 in the chat room. Come on. Put a 1 in the chat room to let me know that you connect to what I'm saying. Because it's difficult. I get it. Sometimes we're stuck in the mode that we're in, and we just we go through the day to day. I get it. I was there. And sometimes it just seems like it's too difficult to walk away. And like, what happens if you lose money? I get it. Sacrifices have to be made. You don't think there's times that I sit and go, I walked away from 6 figures in New York. 6 figures. I was making over $100,000. But I knew I needed to go. And every time I hear my daughter speak Mandarin Chinese, and she's in a Chinese immersion program, I guess Delaware's gifted program, I know I made the right decision because it wasn't about me. Yeah, I was the engine, but it was the focus on my wife and daughter. So every time I see KL reach some type of plateau, some reward, I know I made the right decisions. But then I also had to circle back to me. Keith, what are you doing for you? Like I said, I'm going to the gym today because I'm working on me. I'm working on the business stuff. I got notebooks here, stuff I got to go through. I just hired somebody from Fiverr to organize my videos. I'm getting it all together because right now I'm building a team. I have some people that's in waiting, ready to go for the program that I have. I'm reaching out to the churches to build the platform. I'm moving in the directions that I need to go. And right here on my wall, I'm not going to pull it down, but right here on my wall, I have a plan Keith, 7-step plan for the future. And I am at step 2 right now. Hey, what's going on, Chris? All right, yeah, Otis is my dude. That's my dude right there. I counseled him as well, helped him through some things. That's how we connected. He brought me to Detroit to speak in 2016, and we've been connected ever since. And I've helped him through some personal things, and I still do. But that's my dude. We've actually grown to be good friends. And so shout out to you and shout out to the D. All right, what it do? What it do? What it do though? But yeah, Otis is a great dude and doing great things in Detroit. That's my man. And actually, I'll probably speak to him later on today. We'll probably talk. I think he's getting ready to go to speak in Vegas tomorrow. Yeah, we just talked about it. I think he's going to Vegas to do a conference or to speak in Vegas. So great to have you, Chris. Appreciate you, bro. But I don't know who this is for, but you got to understand is that once you can do this evaluation, once you can evaluate yourself, you gotta give yourself a target. What are you after? And the reason why I understand that is if you look over my shoulder at my degrees, right? I have 2 master's degrees. When I started each program, I'm not going to lie to you. A part of me was like, oh, how am I going to get through this? But I got through the 2 years. And I got through the 2 years because the goal was worth it. And I had to put the work in, and there's sacrifices that have to be made. And that's the one thing that we got to understand is once you understand what it is that you want, then you have to decide what are you going to sacrifice to get it. I made that mistake. Like I said, I muted myself. I put myself on hold because I was like, for whatever reason. And a lot of it is just laziness. I'll be, like I said, I'll be 100% transparent. Am I successful? Some people will tell you yes. I'm going to tell you, I don't think I am as successful as I should be because of the things I did not do. And I'm okay with that because now I'm pushing. So now my fight is just praying that God gives me enough time because I wasted time. And I'm okay with that because every day I help somebody. Every day when I counsel with somebody, I'm doing and being who I know God created me to be. So I don't look back and have regrets of, whoa, I should have. No, I go back in the past to get the information that I need to keep me focused on my current. And the Lord is opening up doors for me. I just have to be prepared that when those doors open, I can walk through them. That's another thing too. Don't set your vision up and don't be ready to go through the doors that's going to open because some of those doors, you have to jump over some things and run through some things. That's why you have to do the evaluation of what do you have? What do you possess? What do you know? And then that's going to dictate your actions. That's going to dictate your steps. If I now, case in example, if I now want to be a counselor, which I am, I'm a Christian counselor, certified marriage counselor. So my question becomes, what is it that I can add to my resume? What can I add that's going to make things better for me? Well, I'm doing that. I study. I got to take the exam for my state certification here in Delaware in October. So do I have the testing materials? Of course, because I had to make that decision. So I had to make the sacrifice to get those, and I have to make the sacrifice to study. Now I have a teaching credential. I'm licensed to teach in Delaware. I'm licensed to teach in New York. And I have those, but I want to be able to have my LPC in place because that allows me to work with certain insurance companies. Right now, I work with a great agency and the gentleman at the agency, shout out to Avon, who I put my business through so I can still see people and still use their insurance, but I have to put it through somebody else's agency, which means I have to cut the bread. So I have to sacrifice paying somebody else because I don't have certain things in place. But now as I get those, the relationship changes. And you have to know that again, understanding. This is where you have to do the evaluation of self. What do you know? What don't you know? So my question to all of you is, what is it that you want? And have you done the evaluation of self? What you know, what you have, where are you going? That's another thing too. If I'm supposed to be going north and I'm now traveling south, am I moving? Yes, but I'm moving in the wrong direction. So I need to have some type of map or something to guide me to let me know I'm going the wrong direction. Because at some point I'll figure it out because I will run out of place to go. If I'm heading west, I'll get to California. But if the goal was to get to New York, I'm going to realize I was heading in the wrong direction. Now I got to turn around and waste all that time to come back to zero and then head north because Delaware is south of New York. Whereas if I do the proper evaluation and I do the proper research and I realize that what I want is to be in New York, now I have a target. Now the question becomes, am I going in the right direction? Do I have the right things with me? Do I have everything that I need? And let me use what I have. And if I don't have it, that's when I go get something. And it's just that simple. The work is not simple. The idea is. The work is what causes everybody to give up. Myself included. Like I said, I put myself on hold for a couple of years. I had a couple of people say, when you going to be speaking? I wasn't actively pursuing any speaking opportunities. I wasn't. I had kind of, I guess you can call it imposter syndrome. I had just got to the point I didn't want to be on anybody's stage because a lot of the stuff that I was hearing just wasn't doing nothing for me. And I'm gonna tell you what somebody put on, and this is again why you have to humble yourself. Somebody said to me, Keith, why are you not out here speaking more? And I said, I don't know. I'm just not feeling what I'm hearing. So the person said, let me make sure I'm hearing what you said correctly. You're not speaking because you don't like what you're hearing. And so you're not going to offer anything to counter that. So you would hurt the people that need to hear you. Ooh, my toes curled up from being stepped on. He was right. By muting myself, I was hurting the people who need to hear me. And as a man of God, oh my God, did that ring out. So I said, no longer will I mute myself. That's why I show up here every day, 9:30 to 10. Because somebody, and I don't know who, I'll leave that up to God. Somebody needs to hear what I'm talking about because it's going to move something in their day today. And I don't know who that is. And if it's you, that's cool. If that's you, make sure that you do what I asked you to do. Like, share, tag 2 people today, just 2. 2 people who on your list need to know who I am. You know why? Because I may not be able to reach them, but you may be the conduit for me. You may be the bridge to them. Hey, check the big man out. I think he got something that he can help you with. And I will. I help everybody that show up. So as I grow, I'm taking people with me. And I'm trusting that the door will be open when I get there because I can see it. I see other people going through it. I'll get there. I'll be there. But in the interim, I'm taking people with me. I'm feeding people as I go. I'm taking care of family and self. It can be done. So I'm going to get ready to close out. And I want to say this as I do. I don't know who needed to hear this. And I don't know what you're struggling with. What I do know is that if you set a goal and set a target, it's going to require work. But before you do that work, evaluate, analyze, what do you have? What do you possess? What do you know? And does all of those things lean you into your target? If it does, get to work. If it doesn't, then get what you need if you can. If not, use what you have. Go as hard as possible. Use what is available to you until you are able to secure anything else. I use my phone perfectly fine. But in time, I'll probably go to some other feature, possibly, or even a different phone. But until then, I'm going to use what I have to get what I got to get. And again, I really do hope this helps. So with that said, I'm going to go, but I want to say this before. If you need me, reach out. Hit my inbox or at me. to let me know if you want to get together, or if you're thinking about maybe having a conversation with me. I'll send you the form, you fill it out, and we'll connect. The call is free. Reach out. I would love to get on a call with you. The call is free. The first call is always free because I may not be the person for you. But like my hashtags say, bring me your pain. Why? Because we can fix this. And you know why? Because even if I can't help you, I'll work with you to point you in the direction of somebody who can help. And as my man Chris G just said, take my brother Otis Bellinger. If I can't help, maybe my brother Otis Bellinger can. Maybe my business coach, Glenn P. Brooks Jr. Maybe my literary coach, Tarkessa Colvin. Maybe my mentor, Brian Groves from Italy, Slow Lane Coaching. I know people that might be able to help you. So by reaching out, not only do you get to connect to me, you get to connect to my resources. And that's the reason why I build them. Maybe there's some things that did not work for me that would be tremendous for you. But we cannot know until we have a conversation. So reach out. And if counseling is something that you need, I'm here for that. This is what I do. I have counseling sessions today and tomorrow and Saturday. So again, I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, award-winning author, educator, more importantly, man of God who understands that life is going to take you up and down, but you have to be willing to face the highs and the lows and trust that God is taking you somewhere. I am not going to mute myself for anyone. I have some things that I'm trying to do, and a wife and a little girl I got to protect, as well as all my other children who are grown, but they still need protection too. I pray over all of them as well. So I want you to have a wonderful day. Reach out if you need me. Come on, Lynn, take us up out of here. Have a good day, guys. God bless.